Hey, so we're the Business Onesies, and we created MetaApp, an app to help you prototype apps. So when we started working on this project, we quickly realized that prototyping is a very complicated process because you quickly end up using a lot of tools just to create a very simple mock-up of your application. So we wanted to simplify this process. Now, that involves not only simplifying the prototyping stage, but also streamlining testing and making it very easy to turn any of your static drawings into an interactive app that anyone can test. So what we created was an app that combines all of these things into one and lets you test your applications very easily in a medium that your users can understand. So they don't have to go through the process of tapping on paper or clicking on a computer when what they really want to do is test your app on a mobile device.
Now let's take a look at our solution, MetaApp.
When you start MetaApp, you're taken to the home screen, where you can tap the plus to create a new project, or if you have previous projects, you can swipe to view them. Let's continue a project we've already started. Let's add a button. You can see you've got an array of elements to choose from. If you ever forget how the app works or what any of these buttons on the left might mean, you can always tap the question mark, and it displays a help screen where explaining the buttons and showing that you can pinch to resize. Let's change the text on this button simply by tapping it. Press OK. I typoed. Let's link this button to an existing screen. Tap the link. If you want to link to a new screen, you can. You're taken to a view that shows you all of the screens you've already created. Tap the screen you wish to select. Now that it's linked, let's go ahead and test it. When you enter test mode, you can hand your device to someone else, and they can simply press buttons that you've created to link you to and from your prototype screens.
After conducting some user testing on some of our earlier prototypes, we realized that we had a couple of issues. One of the issues that we had was that a lot of our users needed to go through multiple steps in order to accomplish a single goal, so we tried to reduce the number of taps where possible. We also decided to move the testing mode from having to go to prototype overview to being available from the development screen. Lastly, we realized that a lot of our users had trouble distinguishing between icons on our sidebar, so we reduced the number of icons available, and we also tried to make them more clear for the user. I'll go ahead and show you some examples right now. Here's an early prototype of our sidebar that we created using MyBalsamic. As you can see, there are a lot of icons that the user has to choose between. Some of our icons, like shapes and UI elements, were confusing for our users. For our next iteration, we created some custom icons. Again, UI elements and menu were confusing for our users. In our next iteration, we decided to go with a more standardized look instead of creating our own icons. Again, UI elements and menu were confusing for our users. A lot of our users also misinterpreted the layers icon as standing for color. In our last iteration, we reduced the number of icons significantly and consolidated the UI elements, shapes, and custom objects icons all into one giant plus sign. Although consolidating all three of those buttons into one icon meant that the user had to go through a slightly less direct route to reach any single one function, we realized that limiting the icons and simplifying the process actually worked out a lot better for our users. For future iterations, we'd like to improve available UI elements, add notes and markups, redo, drag and drop, alignment guides, the ability to save, export, and share, and we'd like to add arrows to view screens to show links between buttons and screens to better demonstrate the flow of the app. Additionally, for test mode, we'd like to have a better modal indicator so that users know when they're in development mode or test mode. We'd also like to incorporate test mode analytics such as heat mapping and/or recording sound or video from user testing. Thank you very much for watching our video. We hope that next time when you're developing an app and need to test and prototype quickly, you'll consider using MetaApp.